Hello and welcome. My name is John Paul Dombrowski. Today we're going to be practicing a very simple, very concrete mindfulness of breath practice to help you practice being present, help you to practice being grounded amidst the chaos of life. Mindfulness is simply practicing paying attention to this moment without judging or reacting to it. And so what we're going to do today in this practice is we're going to focus on the breath. And as the mind gets distracted and caught up in other thoughts or other worries, we're simply going to bring the mind back. So let's get started. You can find yourself right away into a comfortable posture. Just give yourself a few little moments to arrive here. To notice how the body feels. To find stillness. Not a forced stillness, not a rigid stillness, but a soft and quiet stillness. And we can notice the body planted on the ground beneath you, the support of the ground holding you up. We can notice gravity holding you snugly right in place here. You can notice all the different sounds around you, the layers of sound. And if your eyes are not closed already, you can allow those to close, and you can even notice your visual field, even with your eyes closed. Little bits of shadow and brightness. And then you can notice that you're already breathing. And here there's no need to change your breath in any way, but rather we're looking towards the breath and towards the sensation of breath, because it helps us to be anchored in this present moment. The breath is both always moving and always steadily here. So we're going to turn our awareness towards the breath. I find this most helpful by looking towards the belly. But we're going to turn towards the breath in the gentle way. The goal here is not perfect concentration. The goal here is not to stop thoughts. That's impossible. But rather, each time our mind wanders off away from the breath, we just gently bring it back. And in this way, mindfulness is the practice of beginning over and over again. And so notice here, in this moment, how is this breath making itself known to you? Notice that physical sensation. It can be helpful here to place a hand on the belly. Feeling the breath moving even more viscerally. And your mind may wander off. That's perfectly okay. Just notice that it's wandered. And then without judgment, without criticism, just bringing the mind back, acknowledging that the goal of mindfulness is simply to begin again. And let's see if we can count the breath. We'll just begin with three breaths. See if we can follow it throughout. 1 on the in-breath, 1 on the out-breath, 2 on the in-breath, 2 on the out-breath, 3 on the in-breath, 3 on the out-breath. And then beginning again. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. And if your mind gets wandered off in the middle of that, that's okay. We just start over. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. And if you don't like that way of breathing, if it feels unnatural, that count, you can alternate, counting up to 6. 1 on the in, 2 out. 3 on the in, 4 out. 5 on the in, 6 out. And doing that again. And the counting is not a task or a challenge. It can be a helpful way to anchor to the breath. It can be something that gives the mind just a little bit more to do when we're learning this practice of doing less. But if it doesn't feel good to breathe like that, to count, let it go. Just connecting with this breath in this moment, just as it is. And again, we're not trying to change the breath. Even when we're counting, we're not trying to change the breath. We're just looking towards the breath and noticing how it already is. And of course, your mind will wander off just like it always does. And when the mind wanders off, we recognize it, we greet it with kindness. And then gently and tenderly, just like puppy dog training, we pick up the puppy dog and just bring it back to home base, back to the belly. And so we call the breath our anchor, not because it's something forced and rigid, but because it's something solid, that no matter how challenging the weather is, the anchor's always here, rising and falling. Nothing to do here but be with this breath in the body. And then in the final meditation moments, just begin again. Like you were sitting down to practice mindfulness of breath for the very first time. Just begin again. What do you notice in the breath? How is this breath making itself known to you? The breath is always here, holding us, taking care of us. As soon as we look towards the breath, there it is, taking care of us, holding us. It's a beautiful and loving anchor that can help us to arrive here at the present moment, even in the midst of the great storms and overwhelms of life. So let's set the intention to connect with the breath just a little bit more today. In the middle of activities, when walking, when starting or ending, just to connect with the breath, and the rising and the falling, to help us to arrive here in the present moment. And then when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes, noticing how you feel, committing to carrying this mindful attitude of non-judgment, non-reaction, present-centered focus with you through the day. Thank you for joining me here, and take good care.